Hello everybody and welcome to the latest Sleep Matters podcast from Dreams. Everything you need to know about how to get a good night's sleep and why it matters so much. I'm Dr Pixie Mckenna, and in this episode for Dreams we're going to be talking about dreams. I'm really pleased to have Rose Gallagher beside me, and Rose is a beauty blogger, she's a makeup artist, and hopefully she has a dream or two to share with us. Let's hear more about that in a minute. And we also have Neil Stanley, and Neil is an independent sleep expert who has been studying sleep and working with sleep for about 37 years.
37 years,
is that
yeah.
right? Excellent. So I always ask this question, how did you sleep last night, Rose?
Well, interestingly, I did the Centrepoint sleep out last night.
Oh my goodness.
So a bit of an unusual night's sleep, but I was quite surprised actually. I got off quite quickly.
Wow.
So
Did you sleep the whole night?
I did stay up chatting for a lot of the night, not going to lie, but I got a good 5 hours before I got back home.
Wow. Beat that, Neil.
I did nothing other than go to sleep. I need a lot of sleep, so I was switched my light off at 9 o'clock and woke up at 7:30 this morning.
Oh my goodness. I suppose if you've been working with sleep for 37 years, you've got all the secrets.
You'd hope so by now, yeah.
So Neil, with your 37 years of experience, explain dreams to me.
Well, it's very difficult to explain dreams because dreams are something that we all have. It's certainly universal amongst all mammals. All mammals dream. What they dream about, we don't know. I mean, whatever a human dreams about, you then have to say, what does a cow dream about? What does a duck-billed platypus dream about?
Never really thought about that. It doesn't really keep me up at night.
Most people don't, but that's the problem. So we have these theories like Freud or Jung talking about repressed knowledge or unconscious desires. But that's a very human take on the thing, whereas sleep is a universal phenomenon that goes across species. So what we do in our dreams, if it's about memory or if it's about psychological well-being, well, what's the psychological well-being of a cow? And how do you know if a cow is happy or a cow is sad, or whether it's dealt with its emotions and whether it's angry with its partner? We don't know that. So dreams do have a big effect on our memories and our emotions. And there are many theories going back to Aboriginal dream time. The creation myth of the Aboriginals is about dreams. But do cows think that God created them in a dream? How would we know? We can't ask them. And so this is the problem. We have many theories of dreams. It takes up 25% of our night, but we don't know why we do what we do, why we tell a story to ourselves made up of our own memories, our own imagination. Why do we do that? What's the purpose? Especially if we don't remember a dream or if we're not awake and that dream goes without us being any aware of it. Who is paying attention to that dream? What's in our head that's happening that we don't know about, yet when we do know about it, it's so all important.
So Freud had a few theories on dreams.
Freud said it was all about unrepressed or unexpressed wishes and that sort of thing. But of course, if you go to a therapist and you say there's something wrong with you, you're not going to tell the therapist about your fluffy bunny dreams. You're going to tell him about the weird stuff. Because so Freud, I think, was slightly biased in the dreams that he reported, because most people don't have those dreams regularly, if at all, actually. So I think there was a bit of a bias there, because we never tell our partner about the boring dream we have. We always tell them about the exciting dream. And I think the same with when people go to a therapist. They believe there's something wrong, therefore they're going to talk about, I had a horrific dream. Well, yeah, maybe 1 out of 10, but it's the one you probably remembered.
What kind of dreams do you have?
Well, it's interesting when you were saying there, we dream about so much more than just kind of primitive urges. And I was thinking one of the things I dream about a lot is I've had quite a few significant people in my life pass away in the last few years. And I would often dream that I'm just having a conversation with them or spending a bit of time with them. I saw on a horror film recently, they were talking about ghosts, and someone said sometimes a ghost is actually just a wish, and you kind of wish you could see that person. So that would be like a lovely version of a dream and always a bit of a nice experience. All the time, Pixie. If I am going somewhere and I'm worried I'm going to be late, or it's a big thing that I'm really looking forward to, I'll dream that I've missed the bus, I'm running late, my outfit is always wrong, you know, there's a rip in it or there's something. There's always like an act of sabotage before something important.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I dream about my teeth falling out. That's a very common dream for me. But then my other dreams are usually something very, very minor, or someone I've met that I don't even really know particularly well. Something teeny that's happened during the day then magnifies into this massive dream that night if I'm really tired. So I don't know, why is that?
Well, we incorporate, I mean, dreams are made up of what you know and what you can imagine. So, you know, if something's been a big part of your life, that will have formed quite a lot of your memories. And if you can imagine, a dream is a bit like a pinball machine, and you've got the ball banging around your memory, and as it hits the bumpers, different memories and visions come up. So if you have a lot of something in your mind, like, you know, a close friend or relative or something like that, then that will appear more often in your dreams. Or the type, you know, if you read horror books every night, it's unlikely that you're going to have Mills and Boone type dreams. You're gonna have James Herbert type dreams, and so the dreams are you modify them. I mean, you know, Beethoven dreamt music. I will never dream music because I'm not at all musical. So that music played a huge part in his life, not in mine. So your dreams are affected by who you are and what has occurred in your mind, and then the meaning comes down to the recurring dream you have is usually your stress dream. That's the one dream that we can identify as being a recurring dream. So my stress dream is that it's break time, I'm at secondary school, I'm playing football with my friends, the bell goes, and I start walking towards the science block, which at my school was a separate building. We had to walk across the playing fields. So I'm walking along, and it's exactly the same thought. I think, I don't know what lesson I'm going to. I don't have my timetable. I don't know if I've got the right exercise books with me. I don't know if I've done my homework.
Wow. I get
And
that.
at that moment, that's when I wake up. And only ever at that moment. Now, the dream before that could have been anything, and then suddenly it switches to that. So that's my stress dream. Some people have other stress dreams, you know, standing up, talking to, but that's what I do as a profession, so that's not going to be my stress dream. Losing your teeth, well, if you've got perfect teeth and you're good looking, probably losing your teeth is stressful. You know, if you're as ugly as I am, it doesn't matter if you lose a couple of teeth. That's not going to be a big problem. So it's those sorts of things. It's what is stressful, what is meaningful to you. You know, you say about, you know, having your outfits wrong.
But
well,
even,
you know, that for you is important. For me, it's not something I think about ever.
But it's so funny that you mentioned school, because one of my recurring dreams is I'm at uni, my coursework's due, I've not done any work, or I'm going into an exam, and I'm thinking to myself, why have you done this to yourself? But isn't it funny that we both had a school one? Like, a school one's quite common because everyone found that stressful.
It's stressful for us. And you know, I was at a bog standard comprehensive. I wasn't exactly the brain of Britain, but I was certainly in the upper tier of the people at my school. So for me, that would have been incredibly stressful. It would have been humiliating as a child not to have had the right homework. At university, it would have been, you know, if you were a good student, it would have been humiliating for you. If you were a lazy student who was not doing anything, then that wouldn't be your dream. You'd have some other sort of stress-related dream. So that's the one dream that we do know. You have to recognise that repetitive dream that always follows the same narrative. That is an unconscious sign that you're stressed.
Well, that's good to know. So, but it doesn't mean, you know, because I've read about this and asked people about it, and they say, oh, you're losing control, you're in control, you're out of control, and it's like.
Do you Google them afterwards? I love having a Google if I've had a weird dream. And I think, oh, here we go, I'm coming into money, or whatever it is, and I'll be delighted.
It's like your horoscope. Can we stop? I mean, can you clearly you can't stop having that dream, because if you could, you wouldn't still be having that dream after 37 years, would you?
Absolutely. You can modify your dreams, but, you know, people occur, and like you said earlier, that, you know, if you meet somebody, then they somehow get incorporated into your dream.
But that really annoys me, because it's not someone, like, it's just some random person that I've met briefly, and I'm like, okay,
what are you doing
in my dream?
But that's it. The dreams can be made up of anything that is in your head. regardless whether it be your imagination or something you've experienced. It's all there. And you know what it's like when you listen to the radio and you hear a song from 40 years ago that you never actually liked in the first place, and yet you know the words to it, and you've never actually learned the words. So these things are in there, and there has been research showing that it takes maybe 3 days to a week before you actually incorporate people into your dreams.
Oh, really?
But again, that's on the dreams that you know you've had, rather than the dreams you don't know you've had.
Of course.
So we don't know. There's research showing about people learning a new language and how fluent they have to be before they start dreaming in the new language. And so there's all of these things. These things become incorporated.
But nobody talks in dreams, do they? I thought nobody spoke in dreams. I thought dreams were like silent movies and nobody spoke.
People do talk in dreams. You just don't have a conversation. So one person will speak and then you will speak, but it's never a conversation. If you say that, which I do in my lectures, people always say, oh, I always have conversations. And I say, no, you just think about how your dream goes the next time you remember it. And then they do realise it is one person talking, and then you're talking. You certainly never cross-talk. You can't cross-talk because your brain couldn't process those two signals that's happening, because that would confuse you. Because the thing with dreaming is you can only dream about particular things because you don't want to rob your vigilance. This is why you can dream movies because your eyes are closed, but you'll never dream of smells because you have to rely on your smell to tell you what the world is happening. And your hearing can only hear particular things because, again, you're relying on your hearing to protect you from bad things at night. So, and you don't ever dream of touch. You never touch somebody in your dreams, and people never touch you. Because if you're doing...
I've definitely been kissed in a dream. Excuse me.
Well, maybe you've been kissed because being kissed is not really a threat to you. But if you have somebody who's dreaming and you just notice their eyes moving backwards and forwards, the easiest way to wake them up is just to lift their arm up. Because if you're dreaming, you're not moving. You're paralysed in your dreams. If you lift their arm up, they'll immediately wake because that's a threat. So we can't dream about certain things in our dreams. But therefore we can dream about other things. We can dream about flying because our body and brain know we're lying on the floor not moving. So movement, the only time we would move when we were asleep would be in an earthquake. And that would give us other feelings as well. So we can safely dream about flying because it doesn't confuse our brains as to what's happening in the world. But I say you'll never smell anything in your dream because you need to be able to smell smoke or the animal that wants to eat you.
You ever smelt anything in your dream?
Do you know something? I can't think now that I've smelt anything, but in terms of kind of senses, someone said to me once ages ago that you might remember your dream really vividly, because I always remember exactly what's happened, but you'd rarely remember colours. So I might know that us three went for dinner and that you had a lovely blouse on, but I wouldn't know to think what colour it was. And the person that was saying this to me said if you remember a colour in your dream, then it had a psychic meaning. How do you feel about psychic meanings?
I've never. Again, it's down to what you want to believe. Whatever happens in your dream can only mean something to you. So if you don't remember colours, and for one experience you do remember that colour for whatever reason must mean something. Now, what it means is down to you. Now, and you might not ever have the answer for that. You might not be able to work that out.
You know how you were saying that with the recurring dreams, that's usually a signal of stress. Are there any other sleep dream patterns that are an indicator of something else?
No, I mean, let's say if you're happy, you're probably going to have happy dreams. If you're sad, you're probably going to have sad dreams. I mean, your mood can set up your... But that's like, if you're happy, you'll enjoy a rom-com at the cinema. If you're sad, you're probably not going to go and see a rom-com. So your mood. Same with music. If you're sad, you're not going to listen to Europop. If you're going to listen to Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks on repeat or things like for those old people. But, so it's that sort of thing. It's your mood will affect your dreams, and your dreams can affect your mood. If you've had a lovely dream,
Yeah.
you will feel good the next day if you wake up in a nice dream. And you are preferentially designed to wake up in a dream. We have 4 or 5 dreams, but you will, if you don't set an alarm, you will wake up in the last dream of the night, and so that will be the dream you remember. Also, if you get up to go to the bathroom during the night, you will wake up almost certainly in a dream. So it may be 2 or 3 dreams that you actually get to remember each and every night. So if somebody says they never dream, they're just a good sleeper. It doesn't mean anything. Everybody dreams. It's just they don't remember dreaming.
And we're not remembering them because we're not waking up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to wake up in a dream or
cycle.
within 2 minutes of the dream ending to remember it.
Why do we forget them so quickly? So when you remember, because I find that I might wake up in the morning, I remember something, and then I've completely forgotten what the dream was about by the time I've had a shower. And
Yeah, by the time you come to tell your partner about it, you think, oh, it's not that exciting, is it? It's because it's a transient experience. It's because it is an unreality. We have 2 realities. When we're dreaming, our dreams are real, which is why you can get a physiological response, why your heart can be beating, you can be sweating and breathing heavily and feeling fear or anxiety. You can have a physiological response to that dream. So it is real. But then you have to then transition to your new reality, the real everyday reality, and therefore the brain cannot have 2 versions of reality playing. It has to say, right, that was the past, this is now real, I can forget the dream. It wasn't important.
But what was it important? Did it serve me any purpose? The dream I knew about before I went for a shower and I came back and I'd forgotten. Has that done anything for my health, my mental well-being, my physiology?
I wish I could tell you. I mean, it's certainly, we know that dreams are involved in processing memories, probably more emotional memories. So our deep sleep, our stage N3 sleep, is the bit where we lay down practical, factual memories. It seems as though REM, which is where we have our dreams, is about psychological well-being and psychological memory. So deep sleep is what happened. REM sleep is how do I feel about what happened. And certainly if we deprive people of REM sleep, dreaming sleep, you basically depersonalize that person. They lose their inhibitions. They find it difficult to deal with reality. So we know it's about emotional well-being. And bizarrely, the structure of sleep, after 1 million years of evolution, we have these 5 dreaming periods. Now, why we have 5 a night, why they are spaced roughly 90 minutes, we have no idea. It seems to be a very ineffective way, because we have 20% in the deep sleep, 20% in dreaming sleep. That means we should all be able to get the benefit of sleep in 4 hours. But nature has decided that we have to have 8 hours. And that's never going to change. So we don't know why we have to have the deep sleep, we have to lay the memories down, and then we have to have these dream periods. It might be that we're just checking the wiring. We're checking that the memories have been laid down. Have they been laid down? Let's check. Let's pull something randomly out the filing cabinet and see if it's in the right place, that sort of thing. It might just be mundane. But that works on a level that you don't need to have a visual dream. Right. You could do that without knowing, without having these fantastical dreams that may or may not. And this is what I said at the start. Why do we get this movie playing? It doesn't need the movie to do what we think it does. It doesn't need that visual representation. So then what does that mean? Does it have a meaning? Freud and Jung discussed the meaning. Freud said it was, your subconscious wishes were coming up. But most of our dreams are incredibly dull.
I think it varies though, doesn't it? Like sometimes I think there's no rhyme or reason to your dream. And then I remember, for example, there was a friend of mine I hadn't seen for years and I kept thinking I must send him a message. I must have dreamt about 5 times that I saw him in the street and said, oh my gosh, isn't it lovely to see you? And we met up again and became great friends again. Do you know, so even though lots of them are silly, some of them I think there really is some kind of purpose and core to them.
Absolutely. It's just we don't know why. We don't know why those utterly dull dreams that you have about doing the most mundane things, if you accord importance to one type of dream, then surely the other type of dream is important.
It's
And that's the thing we can't, so for every dream that Freud analysed and said, this is because you loved your mother, there's also those really boring dreams that he didn't analyse, and the Aboriginals have their dream time, which is great, it's fantastic, it's magical, but if you ask an Aboriginal what they dream about ordinarily, it's something boring.
And the thing with the boring dreams is there's always some friend that tells you every last detail of the boring dream. And you sat there going, "Oh right, did you? That's great." Bore you to tears.
But it's like those people who the same happens with movies, don't they? Somebody's gone to see a movie and they just rattle on about it and think, "I've not seen it. I don't know what you're talking about."
Don't need to see it now.
Just
tell
say,
me all about it.
Yeah, is it good? I'll go and see it. If it's not, I won't go and see it. But don't try and tell me the entire plot of a movie. And the same with dreams. And again, that's your interpretation.
You had to be there.
You had to be there.
Had to be there.
And, Alan Hobson, the great sleep researcher, who is a researcher of dreams, has kept a dream diary for about the last 35 years. And he says that his belief is that you only remember 25% of a third of the dreams you have. So you only remember a third of the dreams, and of that you only remember the last bit. Like my stress dream, where I'm saying I'm walking to the science block. Before that, my dream could have been about anything, but I can never remember that prior bit. I know I've had it, but I can only remember the last few minutes. And this is what you were saying about why you forget a dream in the morning. Well, actually, by the time you wake up, it's gone already. It's gone before you've woken up because it's not real. It's not an implanted memory. It's just something there in your head that's come out that your brain has made into a story, and then it's gone back to being in its filing cabinet and not to be pulled out again until next time. But I say, if you have 10 filing cabinets and one filing cabinet is full of something, one particular topic, and you just randomly go into your room and pick things out of a filing cabinet, you will find more of that thing. And this is why women, this archetypal thing in the 70s, women, dream about sleeping with their boss. Yes, because you spend more time with your boss than you spend with your partner. So actually, bizarrely, your boss may be more in your head than your partner is.
Is it just women that dream that?
Well, that was the archetypal thing in the 70s. I'm sure it's not true. But the thing is, men don't dream about sex as often as people expect them to do.
So what about the people who don't dream? So, we mentioned them earlier, they say they don't dream, we know they dream. But is it a bad sign if you're not dreaming? If you never dream?
Well, no,
you are dreaming anyway.
It should be a sign that you're a good sleeper. We have never, ever come across a person who does not have dreams. As I say, they may not remember their dreams, but we've never found somebody without REM sleep where you have your dreaming. And we don't only dream in REM sleep. I mean, the dreams we have in REM sleep are long narrative dreams. They're like the movies. But we also have dreamlike events in other parts of the sleep. But these are more, I suppose, like the adverts. They sort of concentrate on one single emotion. They're much shorter narratives, so there's not a long story. So we have these as well. And we're very rarely able to remember those. But we have all of these dream-like events. And I say, does it affect people? No. Is it a bad thing? No. It just means probably they're a good sleeper and they probably have a strict regime where they're just waking up not in their dreaming sleep at the end of the night. They're probably setting an alarm and they've probably got a fixed bedtime. So there's no well, we don't know. I mean, we wouldn't know how different they would be if they did dream. So it's an interesting philosophical problem. But, of course, by finding out whether somebody dreams, you wake them up. And if you wake them up, you affect them.
Affect them, yeah. What about food? Does that make a difference? Cheese, chocolate.
Cheese, you hear of cheese a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I inadvertently became the world's expert on cheese and sleep.
Yeah, tell us.
I was approached by the Dairy Council or whatever a few years ago to provide a quote for a PR release to put into the press about a study they had done on cheese and dreams, which basically showed that British cheese gave you nice dreams and nasty French cheese gave you nightmares.
Really? Oh gosh.
Which of course was just a survey. It was had no scientific validity at all. But that suddenly became one of the most quoted things I've ever done, and people keep bringing them up saying, "Oh, about that cheese and dream study you did. Can we have the data?" And I said, there was no story. There was no data. There is nothing in cheese that will cause you to have dreams. Or what there is in cheese is an awful lot of fat. And in order to get a good night's sleep, you need to lose 1 degree of body temperature. If you eat something, a lot of fat or sugar before bed, you're going to have to burn those calories off, which will cause you not to sleep well, which will cause you to remember more dreams. And if you remember more dreams, they're more likely to have a nightmare or whatever. So there's no direct link. There's nothing in cheese that isn't in any other food stuff. But this idea of cheese and dream goes back to the Victorian times when probably you were, drinking half a bottle of port and eating, good cheddar cheese, mature cheddar cheese, and you're probably getting a huge amount of calories which disturb your sleep, and that just caused you. But there is nothing in cheese that will cause you to have nightmares.
There we go. Right. Have you learned something?
I can't believe just how many people have things like recurring dreams. I just assumed it would be very rare to have something like that, but it's fascinating to think that we all have similar patterns within our dreams.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. There are archetypes. I mean, people talk about things in our dreams that recur, like you losing your teeth or whatever. But again, by hearing that people dream about losing your teeth, you're going to think about people losing their teeth, therefore you're going to probably dream about losing your teeth. But I say the subtle dream, that stress-related dream, is something that we all have. It's just that we don't notice it. We don't think about it. We don't think about that reoccurring pattern. And, oh, yes, that was a stressful event. That's different in mood and tenor from the other dreams that we have, where we don't always wake up at the same point. We just wake up randomly. So, I mean, we do have this, and that's the bit that people should be aware of with their dreams, is their stress dream, because that is the brain telling you that something's amiss and you should sort it out.
If someone's having a recurring bad dream, how do they stop that?
It's very difficult. Look at if it's a genre of dreams, like you read horror books and you dream horror, then change your reading material. But bad dreams, nightmares can be indicative of a problem. It's certainly post-traumatic stress disorder. If the bad dream is a recurrence of an actual real life event that you've experienced, then that is a problem, and you should go to your GP, and counselling can help that. Dealing with the problem can help reduce the occurrence of that in the dream. But for most of us, if we have a bad dream, it's just a bad dream. It doesn't mean anything, so don't worry about it. And I say, change your bedtime reading habits.
Okay. Good advice.
And are there any other kind of practical steps that you can take? So, for example, is there any suggested way to have your pillows, or, don't read half an hour before bed or anything like that?
There's 1,000,001 ways to get a good night's sleep. It's down to you to find the way that works for you. But as I say, getting a better night's sleep will mean that you won't wake up as often, and therefore you won't remember as many dreams. Therefore, you will not remember, the whole gamut of horror dreams or rom-com dreams or sci-fi dreams. You'll just remember less, and therefore you'll probably remember the nicer dreams.
Good, a very good take home. Well, thank you so much, Rose and Neil. Really interesting. I could talk to you all day. Really interesting. Thank you for watching the Sleep Matters podcast from Dreams. If you enjoyed it, then please press the like button below. And if you want to see more, then you can subscribe to this series.